It's a beautiful day here in front of Wells Fargo. We encourage you to come down and join us. We're in Midtown, New York City to protest the, obviously the Dakota Access Pipeline. And as usual, it's a spirited crowd.
Hate him, love the CEO. We don't want you long, take your broke bank home. Hate him, love the CEO. We don't want you long, take your broke bank home. Fargo, embargo, Wells Fargo, embargo, Wells Fargo, embargo, Wells Fargo, embargo.
We started a campaign at Standing Rock in a freezing tent about 3 weeks ago, and today we stand in the financial capital of the world, having collectively, with your help, divested over $20 million. I believe we're at $21 million from the Dakota Access Pipeline.
That's why we're here. We're here for the unborn. Like I said, I just want to re-emphasize on when I see a lot of people walking here, you got to remember that it's not their fault that so much people are disconnected from what the true meaning of life really is, because they get so disconnected with all the distractions of what life has to offer. But when you come to places like Standing Rock, you come to places that are in high poverty, and you think, geez, you know, this is kind of a horrible place, but it's truly not. The community I come from, and the county is the 6th poorest county in the country. But I guarantee you those are some of the most happiest people in the world, because it's not about money to us. It's about our land, it's about our water, it's about our resources. That's what's important to our people, and that's the message we pass down to our young ones.
I find it interesting that we're in New York City, where I've lived here before. Everybody's kind of in their own little world. They're probably, as they cross here, wondering who are these hooligans blocking me from getting to lunch or work. What should people know who are kind of been blind and unaware to what's going on? What should they know?
Basically, like I said, it's not necessarily about Standing Rock. This is just about our environment. It's about our water. And what we're doing to our environment today, what are we leaving here for our future generations? And that's what's so important about this movement here in Standing Rock. It's easy to relate to. It's easy to understand. It's easy to be a part of, because it is about water, and we need water to live. So that's what's so important. And as I sit here, and this is my first time in New York, but as I sit here and I see people walking across, not totally understanding the meaning of life and the meaning of water, there's going to be a time in their life, in their family's life, where they're going to absolutely have to understand that it is a need at some point. And then I think the movement of Standing Rock has awakened the world to really, really rise up and to fight against these 1%ers of the world that are tearing down our country, tearing down our world, and making money for profit.
The real evil is not the Muslims and the Mexicans coming over for a better life. The real evil is corporate America. So that...
And also, I think a lot of TYT viewers and just a lot of progressives in general kind of feel like, all right, yeah, we could protest, but the banks are too powerful. We tried Occupy, that dwindled. We ran Bernie, and look what we got. What do you say to people who think, I'm with you, but let's be real, we can't beat the banks?
Yeah. Well, I love what the investigative journalist Chris Hedges says, and he says that to really change things, that you really have to have these sort of mass movements, and the mass movements don't have to be in power. They just have to create like a real public display of humiliation, and so I think that's what we're doing here. But also, the anthropologist Margaret Mead said, never underestimate a concerned group of citizens. It can be a small group, but never underestimate. Once you have an idea and you can get it out into the world, it's like you can't evict a really good idea. And there's more minorities, more black and brown people populating the earth on both sides. People don't want income inequality. These are ideas that once they get out, they're the right ideas. People want to be on the right side of history. So
You don't want to keep your money in a safety deposit box in your closet somewhere. You want a bank account. You don't want bombs. You don't want police brutality. You don't want blood. You don't want those things. That's right, isn't that right? Yeah. So don't put your money in those banks. Take your money out of those banks. That's what we're doing here today. We don't want to ride shotgun on a stagecoach, Wells Fargo. Hell no. That's not why we're here. We are here to have a planet to live on, not to finance your destruction.
I'm watching people go, oh, what's happening here? They want to be educated. I mean, we're in crisis mode in the United States right now. We have a government that's incoming that is a threat to democracy itself. We have a government that's incoming that says they're going to take the reservations back and turn them into oil and gas zones. This is going to create havoc across this nation. I mean, I really feel like the incoming Trump people are this crazy dystopian band of super destructos that are coming out of like the woodwork. I mean, all of these discredited, crazy people. Rick Perry. I mean, these people couldn't get 1% of the vote, and now they're going to be in charge of the department. He said he wanted to dismantle the Department of Energy. Now he's going to be in charge of the Department of Energy. Rex Tillerson sued to stop a fracking water tower in his own backyard. This man didn't want fracking in his own backyard, and he's promoting fracking all across the entire world. I mean, the level of hypocrisy.
The EPA administrator, big fossil fuel guy, doesn't believe in climate
The
change.
administrator is suing the EPA right now. So, look, the only way we win is we fight back and we're in the streets.
I think people are already resisting Donald Trump. And we know that someone like him, his power will be over. I feel his power ending already. And the Earth's power will not end. The Earth will be here when Trump ends. So let's get on the right side. It's not about choosing the Democrats, it's about choosing the Earth.
You have Kelsey Warren from Energy Transfer Partners. He says such things as, "Oh, we're doing a state-of-the-art steel pipe. The chance of a spill very rare." Meanwhile, over 700,000 gallons released 150 miles away from Cannonball just a few days ago.
Yep. So when I saw that, I thought, right, that's a much smaller pipeline. That has a maximum capacity of 1,000 barrels a day. The DAPL pipeline has a maximum capacity of over 570,000 barrels a day. So take that pipeline spill, which just ended up being a fairly massive spill, and it's gone into a frozen creek, and they don't know how much is under the ice, and multiply that by 570, and you're going to end up with a potentially massive spill into the Missouri River on the tune of 100 million gallons of oil. So it's not that pipelines won't spill. It's not that the DAPL won't spill. All pipelines leak. They sometimes burst and sometimes explode. And so, we just can't allow that to happen. This is just too much of a risk for 18 million people downstream from the Dakota Access Pipeline, where it crosses the Missouri, and it crosses 200 other bodies of water on its long trip all the way down to Illinois.
We can't separate environmental issues from the human rights issues, and I think we can see that where not only in Standing Rock, which has that county is one of the poorest of the 6 in the U.S., so there's an obvious connection to the economics there, but everywhere where there's an economically depressed community, an impoverished community, even here in New York, they want to put fresh direct, a new trucking way right in the Bronx where we have the highest asthma rates, right? We have to unify these movements and see that they are interconnected. Just like we as Native people say, all things are connected and we are all relations, we mean that. And there's a reason for that. So we have to start looking at this movement like that, but we can't separate the environment from the indigenous people's rights issue. And that's another reason why we're here today, to remind people of that. Indigenous peoples can be seen as sort of like the canaries in the coal mine. We have treaties, we have rights, there's international agreements, international standards which recognize the rights of indigenous peoples, and right now states in collusion with multinational corporations are trying to erode those rights, and that's what we have to stand against and see that as connected to this movement here.